Hey everybody, good evening. It's so good to see so many of you here. I gotta talk more in the mic. Okay, all right, am I good? I can't tell how I'm doing this. So my name is Reverend Angie Abt, and welcome. So before we start, I have to always do a reminder about making sure you turn your cell phones off, because I have to do that with mine. So, and I want to ask, is there anybody that's here for the first time, like coming to a spiritualist worship service for the first time? Quite a few. Okay, welcome. So I want to start out and I want to read you a little bit about what this service is about. So this worship service is based on the religion of spiritualism. It started here in Western New York, that's good, right, in 1848. Spiritualism believes that life continues after the physical change called death, and that God is a loving God who wants only our greatest good. We are spiritual beings having an earthly experience as we learn lessons from spiritual growth. Spiritualism firmly believes that the gate of reformation or change for the better is always open to each of us. So one of the things that I love about coming and having these services is you get to see old friends, right? Because I think we're doing that a lot, and you get to meet new people. So we always ask if you could turn to the person next to you. Just introduce yourself. Okay. That turned into a party right away. You know, that's what we've been saying all day, that we were getting ready for a party tonight. So that's kind of how it feels. So I'd like to start out with prayer. Infinite Spirit, we welcome your presence here on this beautiful evening as we come together for the first time in a long time. We feel your presence here with lots of healing, love, and peace. So I'm going to now call up Reverend Irene, and Irene's going to do a reading for us and guide us into meditation.
Welcome, everybody. It's terrific to be together. So I want to tell you a little bit about this reading. It's a lecture on Thoughts Are Things, handled by Reverend Abt. It should have a seminary on Elmwood Avenue in Buffalo. It was a church as well, and he trained healers and mediums, and one of those people was Reverend Elaine Thomas, who was one of the co-founders of the Fellowship of the Spirit. And Reverend Elaine Thomas, as we go down this lineage, taught so we thought it would be fitting to do this. It's an excerpt. You want to walk in the power of happiness, and you must give out happiness. Then you will send to those who are unkind a thought of peace, of holiness, and may they realize someday that they have this great power that can bring such joy into your own soul. You say, why am I doing this? Why should that be only me? No, my friend, it should be everyone on the earth plane. It should be power supreme, and the negativeness should be passed away. You are changing day by day into a more happy frame of mind. into a gentle frame of mind, in a frame of mind that brings peace and comfort and takes away the tiredness and brings joy, energy, health. Yes, my children, around and around and around you, you find things going quieter for you are sending out into your aura, which is going further away and further away all the time, good thoughts, good love, and the power of God. Knowing this is filling your rooms, filling everywhere you walk, everyone you look at, and everyone you touch. And so it is. And at this time, I'd like you to just, if you have anything in your lap, just to put it aside, make yourself comfortable. We're going to go into a very short meditation. All right, and I had this thought before I came to service tonight, which was, it's not so much the way you do meditation, it's the intention that you have with meditation. And actually, the purpose of meditation is to bring you into that oneness with the divine so that you experience it. So let's just start with some breathing. If you want to close your eyes, you're welcome to. This is only maybe 5 or so minutes. All right. So we'll start with breaths to help us relax and just take in a nice, deep, long, slow breath. Inhaling, hold it for a second, and then just exhale, letting go of thoughts of the day, any exertions you've made, decisions, all that busyness, just set it aside on the shelf. Okay, and then when you're ready, take a nice, slow, deep breath, all the way up to your collarbone. Feel that air filling you, and surrendering to this time, and just letting go, letting out anything that does not serve you. Let's take that last slow breath at your own pace, welcoming fortitude, wisdom, patience with this process of meditation, and we just let it out. And we gradually feel a letting go, a letting go. And if thoughts come into us, we let them be just like little fishes. They swim in and they can swim out. We just let them go. And we relax. We feel ourselves in alignment, coming into alignment, all our energy, as we open up to that which is purposeful and greater and so loving. And we give thanks for this time to come into oneness with that divinity. And we'll just take a minute or so of silence. And little by little, we feel ourselves easing back, and just coming back, but bringing that light with us, bringing that love. It comes with us, and we feel our presence here again in this room, one with the other. You can wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, brings us back to earth. So, and you can do that for yourself anytime you want during the day. You feel a little need for a little lift at 4 o'clock. Maybe instead of a coffee, you just take a 5-minute break and see what that does. See if you like it. All right. While we're in this vibration of, we're going to go into healing, and tonight we're doing universal healing as a group, and no individual healing. So we're going to, you're going to want your order of service, and we're going to be saying the prayer for spiritual healing aloud. And then I will add a little bit to the end of that. All right, so seeing if you're ready. Okay. Prayer for spiritual healing. 1, 2, 3. I ask the great unseen healing force to remove all obstructions from my mind and body and to restore me in perfect health. I ask this in all sincerity and honesty, and I will do my part. I ask this great unseen healing force to help both present and absent ones who are in need of help and to restore them to perfect health. I put my trust in the love and power in God. May the healing power of love go to our earth and renew her. May all nations, all peoples find the love, the will, and the wisdom within themselves to receive this love and choose to live their highest good. We give thanks for this in the name and the power of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And I'd like to invite you at this time to turn to the words for What a Wonderful World.
I'll sing Jesus.
Thank you. I'm going to sneak in a little tip here. Anytime you hear some news that worries you, just think of the lyrics of the song, right? It lifts the vibration around the world. Thank you. And now it is my pleasure to introduce our speaker for the night, Reverend Angela Abt. All right. Reverend Angie Abt is a registered Lilydale medium in Lilydale, New York, and the Associate Director of Fellowships of the Spirit School of Healing and Prophecy. She is also a 2002 graduate of Fellowships of the Spirit School of Spiritual Healing and Prophecy. She also received her degree in Human Services with a concentration in counseling and psychology in 2005. A practicing medium for over 30 years, Angie currently has her own thriving mediumship and spiritual counseling practice located at Santosha Holistic Services in Williamsville, New York, where for the past 21 years, she has taught meditation and intuitive development. Prior to 2002, Angie worked as a customer relations manager in various industries for over 21 years. And I'd like to add, Angie is always learning. She's always investing herself in helping others grow. So it is my pleasure to welcome Reverend Angie Abt.
Always weird to listen to that, right? So good evening again. I'm so happy after, we didn't do this for such a long time, that so many of you came. I appreciate that so much, I think we kind of were people come after 4 years, and you did, so we appreciate that. So my talk tonight is going to be on connection and using it to create peace. Okay, it kind of goes along. It's funny with Irene's reading because we compared, we didn't know what each other was going to do, and they kind of go hand in hand. So as I started preparing for the talk, I went on the internet, to kind of look up connection, and I saw this and I liked it. So I'm going to read it to you. I don't know about you, but human connection really gets me going. When you're having those mundane days where everything feels a little gray and monotonous. And then a conversation with a friend or a colleague where you connect over a point or idea totally transforms your mood and inspires you to throw yourself into things again. That's what I'm talking about. Can't you relate to that? Like so many times, there are times that I'll think, what am I going to do next? I don't know, like, am I on the right path or whatever? And then I run into a couple friends and we have a conversation, and pretty soon I feel back on track, and so do they, and we feel good again, I think that even goes beyond, like when you talk about connection. How about when you go to the grocery store? Like if you stay open to connection, I've had pretty good conversations with the cashiers. I really have. There have been times that I've talked to a cashier and they'll say something to me and I'll think, oh my gosh, that's my answer I've been looking for 6 months, right? It's true. So like we have to stay open to that always. So as humans, we're hardwired to make meaningful social connections. And those connections make us feel good, don't they? Yeah. And when we feel good, we do good. And then if we share it with the world, it can be truly powerful. And that's what I've missed so much, like in this 3.5 years, was connecting with all of you, I loved like watching everybody come in and with smiles on your faces and connecting with each other. And you probably saw people you haven't seen in a long time, right? Yeah, I know I did for sure. And you met some new people too, which is amazing about this too. But then I also, like, as I was thinking about this, and I thought, so we've kind of like lost the connection, like say with the, I hate to say the word, the pandemic, but I feel like we lost it before that even, okay? And so I'll tell you a story. Mark Thomas, who a lot of you I think know Mark, but Mark is a good friend of mine, and he's pastor of Fellowships of the Spirit. And he also is co-founder of Fellowships of the Spirit that he co-founded with Elaine Thomas, who I just always have to mention her because we miss her, and I know she's with us for sure. But anyway, so Mark gave a talk, and he told the story, and he said, I was at work, and I got talking to an older gentleman. And he said, what I miss so much is I miss the days of the lunchroom conversation. Okay. He said, you used to go into the lunchroom at work and everybody would be having a conversation or they'd be laughing or, something, right? And he said, now when you go in, I don't have my phone, but he said, everybody's like this, kind of looking at their phones, right? And that kind of happens. And I don't want to cut down social media because I'm on it. I'm actually on it a lot. I think that's probably how a lot of you found out about the service, So I feel like it's a good thing, but we need balance, right? We need to connect and then at the same time, also be online, So lunchroom, I have to tell you this. So lunchroom at the bank, I used to work at a bank. And lunchroom time was I used to love going in the lunchroom. It was so much fun. It was at the end of the teller line, and so we kind of rush in there, and somebody usually made cookies or we'd have some snacks or have something, and we formed relationships doing that. It was awesome. I loved it. Like that's probably over 30 years ago, and I'm still friends with a lot of those same people, and I can remember this too. Like we'd get laughing in there, sharing our stories, and a couple times we got in a little trouble, okay, because they could hear us out on the floor. The customers could hear us laughing, But then the customers, I'd go out and they'd say, "What are you guys laughing at?" I'd tell them the story, and then they were part of it too, right? Part of those connections. So, to me, I feel like we need to get back to lunchtime connections, right? And we need to get back to neighbors talking to neighbors, okay? To me, that's one of the things I love about a good blizzard, okay? and I don't want to really ever say I remember that one last Christmas that wasn't great, but it brought people together, right? We put our differences aside. We didn't care, who voted for who, or what do you like to eat, or what's your job, or any of that stuff. We just set that aside and we helped each other, right? And so I feel like we have to think about that because that is what brings us together during that time, but it should all the time, I wanted to say this too. I think about like say connection and the internet stuff, and we think about our children, right? Okay, because I know like when I was a kid, I didn't have a cell phone, right? And I didn't have the internet. I had to go outside and talk to the neighbors, right? Or I had to call people up on the phone, and we learned social skills, right? And so I think today I feel like we're responsible. We have to teach the children that, don't you think? I know with my grandkids. So when I talk to them, if I ask them, I have to get them to put their phones down, right? So I'll ask them questions. Now if I ask them questions, they're like, I don't know, I can't remember, they don't give you answers. But if I start telling them stories, okay, and I start telling them, what went on with me at their age or what's going on with me, then all of a sudden they're telling stories back to me. And guess what? We're having a conversation and we're connecting, which to me is super important. So I wanted to also, let me see where I am. I wanted to say my stuff over and over again. So we have to get back to the good old days. And also too, I feel like, we talk about peace. I had a class last Sunday and I did Facebook Live, and I did a meditation, and I had people set their intention, for what they wanted in their lives. And what I heard over and over and over again was peace. I'm looking for peace. I want peace. I want peace in the world. And that goes along with some of Irene's talk too, that we're looking for that. And I feel that if we come together like this, okay, and we meditate together, right, and we raise our consciousness and raise our energy, we can change the world and we can create lots of peace, okay? So there's another, I want to read you a story. Okay, so I'm going back to Mark Thomas again, and Mark Thomas teaches a class called 100th Monkey. I see people here that have gone to that class, and I know I've taken it 4 or 5 times, and it's a class that you do a lot of meditation, and raise your consciousness, and as you do that, you change yourself, help others change too. So the story of the 100th monkey. In the 1950s, scientists conducted research on a group of macaque monkeys on the Japanese island of Koshima. These scientists would drop sweet potatoes on the ground for the monkeys to eat. However, one day, one young monkey took the sand-covered sweet potato and used it at a nearby lake, discovering that the sweet potato tasted better raw. Not long after, more monkeys on this island adopted this ritual, which eventually and unexplainably moved across the water to monkeys being studied on nearby islands. And although these monkeys never came into contact and were separated by water, the act of rinsing food before eating it entered these species' collective consciousness and hence changed their pattern. This strange event was coined the 100th monkey principle, which stated that once a critical number of people's consciousness changed, and in this case that number was 100, a tipping point would occur which would lead to a change in group consciousness. What the 100th monkey principle demonstrated was the field and or the collective consciousness, which I define as a stream of energy that holds all thoughts, emotions, and storylines that impact both the individual and collective energy. Pretty awesome, right? You know, that they started that on one island and then it went to other islands, you know? And so that's why, like I say that if we come together, you know, and we create peace together, you know, and we meditate together and do what we're doing tonight, okay? I think there might be 100 people here. Okay, so we're talking about the 100 monkey effect. We're the 100 monkeys. Okay, you know, so and so we can do this because what's going to happen? You know, you're going to go home. I feel pretty good being here tonight. I think you all do too. You're all smiling, you know. And so you're going to feel this sense of peace, and then you're going to go home and you're going to take time with you. Okay, and you know, and then tomorrow you're going to go to work or do whatever you do, and you're going to take it with you there. Okay, and that sense of peace is going to travel then, you know, with consciousness to other people as well. And I'll tell you, when I took the 100th monkey course, you know, you go to for a weekend and you meditate for the whole weekend, you know. So you really were in like a place of peace, you know. And I'd come home and my stepkids would be running around the house, you know, there'd be all kinds of chaos in the house. And I'd sit down kind of in a different frame of mind, and pretty soon they'd be sitting with me. You know, and then we would be talking about things, and it just seemed like the house was more peaceful, you know. And by that time, I was working at a car dealership, okay, and that was pretty, all kinds of crazy things going on there all the time. And it got to be that employees started coming and sitting in my office, and they didn't want to leave. And I'd say, I gotta work, you know, you guys gotta work too. You know, and they'd say, yeah, but I like the way it feels here. You know, it feels really, really good. There's something, it feels peaceful, and I go out, I have a better day. You know, so is it okay if I sit here for a while? And they would keep doing it. And that showed me that that's really true, you know, so we can pass that on person to person. That's all. So, you know what, I want you to just close your eyes for a second, okay? And I want you, because I want you to feel the energy in this room, okay? And this is energy that we're all creating together. Feel that peace. Wow, that was awesome. As you start coming back, I just want to read this. Peace is not something you wish for, it's something you make, something you do, something you are, and something you give away. And I actually saw that on Facebook today. It's a quote by John Lennon. Kind of goes along with that. So Albert Einstein said, "No problem can be solved with the same consciousness that created it. We must learn to see the world anew. Once we have opened our mind to new possibilities, we can connect to our higher self for inspired solutions. From the peace at our center, we gain distance from our emotions to connect to intuitive wisdom that offers us understanding of the underlying causes and the inspiration needed to guide our steps in a new direction. Albert Einstein showed us that the impact that can be made when we raise our consciousness and allow ourselves to imagine the possibilities, you know. So imagine the possibilities, right, of all of us staying in this energy, taking out and creating peace. And so I wanted to close with, because I always sort of felt like this. I'd go to 100th Monkey and I feel really good for a few days, you know, and then life kicks in, right? And you have stresses and other things. You kind of think, well, how do I stay in that energy? What do I do? Okay. So first, meditate. Really, to me, it's like the most important thing. And even if you don't know how to meditate, throw on some music on YouTube or a guided meditation and listen to it. And because it's a natural state, pretty soon you'll be meditating. Okay. When you meditate, you can't stop stress. It makes it. When I was at that dealership, I was the customer relations manager, so you can imagine some of the conversations I had with customers. But when I meditated, I just like I stayed peaceful and calm. Okay. The other thing is practicing kindness. Okay. I feel like we're all kind here. I know you're kind. But let's be extra kind maybe for people that aren't, because we can pass that same energy with kindness, making sure we hold the door open for somebody or helping somebody carry their bags or whatever, smiling. Isn't smiling awesome? I love when people smile at me. I remember after the pandemic, I went to Target and I didn't wear my mask. I was walking around like just looking at everybody's smiles, right? It was so nice to see them. And give compliments too. I feel like compliments raise people's energy. Like you watch them and you see the look on their face, and then you feel pretty good too, right? And then that passes on. So last thing, I have to tell you the last story. I have lots of stories. So I went to Tim Hortons a few days ago, and I go there a lot. And I got to the window to pay for my coffee, and I was having a day in a rush, and nothing was going well, okay. And I get to the window, and the cashier says, "You don't know anything. The man in front of you paid for your coffee." And I'm like, wow. I mean, I didn't know the guy. I didn't, I couldn't even go thank him. But it changed my day. And it made me feel, wow, somebody does care about me. I'm okay. So it's something that I do. I paid for the people behind me. And then I kind of thought, like, did that continue on? Maybe it did. Because that's raising consciousness too, right? And putting people in that space. So it was a couple bucks. So if we do things like that, we're going to make a difference and bring peace. We can do it. Imagine the possibilities. So I thank you so much for your time and attention. Many blessings to all of you. You're here too. It's awesome. Thank you. And Irene's going to we were actually feeling earlier.
We did our prayerful healing, but if we can just, first of all, I want to thank you for all this practical and spiritual living advice. So thank you so much. So for your stories. So if we can continue that feeling, that reminder of peace and healing, and so let's just set our intention that we can point that out to the people who face experience of the cancer state, right, for their highest good, whatever that is. So we open up and loving healing and blessings to these souls. John, Victor, Ronnie, Dory S., Michelle, Sitha, Michael, Sharon, Dorothy, Gary, Ivan, John, Jackie, Terry, Dave, Lisa, Eric, Christina, Rich, Karen, Dottie C., Singh, Demetrius Sr., Ray, Ava Jo, Derek, Tom, Karen, Tom, Emily, Colleen, Colin, Jesse, John, Brianna and Jamie, Chuck, Roger, Roger, Mo, Maureen, Paul, Paul, Char, Soph, Dobie, Michael, Nana, Miles, Brez, TJ, Mark, Carol, Penny, Kathy, Casey, Brian, Kai, Sherry, Al, Cindy, Margie, Ron, Mike, Arouse, Bill, Evelyn, Jim, Carla, Ethel, Nick, and Harper. We see them all healthy and whole for the good, and for this we give thanks. Amen. Thank you. All right. So at this time, a place of worship it's our collection time. So a place of worship is grown on love and strong intentions. We ask for your support as we strive to grow in love and understanding. As the baskets are passed from the bag, we invite you to offer both your spiritual and monetary blessings. And as they start, I ask the congregation to sing the song Imagine. This month, all right? The first is the annual Feng Shui Energy Changes class, 2024. This is a really popular class every year. And this year is the Year of the Dragon. Linda Elson, who is here in the audience. I saw her. Linda Ellison says that in the upcoming Year of the Dragon, we can anticipate transformative energy, symbolizing strength, courage, and ambitious leadership. By embracing these qualities, individuals can focus on creativity, passion, and renewable energy, especially in their homes and workplaces through taking this class, right? And then you can find more information on Santosha's website, right? Second is the Guided Intuitive Development Circle with Angie Abt. It's offered on Zoom, starting Tuesday, January 30th, and after that, every other Tuesday for a while. In this class, you can develop confidence through natural intuitive abilities. Each class begins with meditation, then Angie teaches a lesson, and we practice exercises based on that lesson. These classes help you remember what your inner self already knows. And third, they're great. Anyways, because you can come together with other people who are interested in this area and learning about it, and it gives you a chance to expand. Number 3 is Fellowship Spiritual Insight Training, parts 1 and 2, with Mark Thomas and Angie Abt. It's going to be offered on March 21st through 24th, and it'll be offered 3 more times, July 18th through 21st, August 15th through the 18th, and September 19th through the 22nd. These 4-day workshops, and they're each individual, you can reclaim your spiritual gifts and take your intuitive abilities and healings levels. These spiritual insight classes help spirits train both beginners and those who have worked in this field professionally to take their skills to the next level of competency and excellence. This transformational course was created 35 years ago by co-founders of Fellowships of the Spirit, Elaine and Mark Thomas. And since that time, Fellowships has repeatedly demonstrated that by combining the ancient ways of teaching meditation, healing, and meditation with with cutting edge modern learning techniques, we can accelerate the learning process. You can find more details about these classes again on Santosha Services webpage or on Fellowships of the Spirits website. And if any of you do have a chance to and want to sign up for the monthly newsletter, which comes through email, there's a sign-up sheet back on that little table. It'll be to your right. Thank you for listening. This brings us to the message portion of our service. Turn over.
We switched back and forth.